All right, let's get into it. I want to hear updates on Dr. Barry's. It's been a few weeks. Did we share with everyone that we had an event? Did we already have that post-event podcast?
I don't think we talked about it. No, I don't think we talked about it after.
We did. We talked about it. We just
We
released
did?
it 2
We
episodes
just
ago.
okay.
There you go.
Deacon would know. Deacon would know. So I want to spend a lot of this time obviously talking about the fund, but I do just genuine curiosity. I want to know about updates on Dr. Barry's, where it's at, and just overall sentiment towards it. This is where it all started, was Dr. Barry. So I guess start with Doc and just how are you guys feeling about it?
Super easy update. Down another 20% this month because reviews continue to just tank our main product that we were focusing on. However, down 20% in revenue, up quite a bit. I think 70% maybe in profit. And so we're really toning down ads and just focusing on the big winners in ads and not really pushing for sales velocity because our conversion rate was so low. But the cool thing is this quarter, we're on pace to do about $15,000 in profit. And I think we only did 9,000 last quarter in profit and then only like 11,000 the quarter before that. And so huge focus on profit and cash flow because we're releasing a third product. We're going to build the whole perpetual sales machine around the third product. It's going to be a liver support supplement. And so we're building the PSM, the perpetual sales machine, around liver detox, natural cleanse, liver cleanse, hangovers, and believe it or not, bloating. Bloating is caused by your liver a lot. So that's what we're going to focus around. And then I realized after I did the whole PSM, we've built it out. Jenna's in editing right now. And then I was like, why am I targeting that when I know this will work? And so I might change it, but I'm going to test what we have first before that. But we should release it in June sometime.
How are you feeling about Dr. Barry's overall? Profits up. That's awesome. Reviews are killing it. I think I know how Deacon feels about Amazon and its reviews. Hint, hint, he loves them. And so what is your thought on it? Have you given up on Dr. Barry's? Have you, locked it in the basement? What are your thoughts on it?
It's not giving up. We've learned a lot from it. And so what we're doing with it is learning from it, kind of keep it going, just kind of there off to the side. But it's got some incredible assets as far as formulations. And so we're going to try a couple of the other formulations that already have reviews, like the liver supplement. It's already got 50 reviews. It's at 4.8 stars on Amazon. So we're not giving up on it. We're just not going to focus on it. We're focusing on an acquisition because we think if we just acquire another brand, we could push that a lot faster than if we focus on this brand over here that's only doing, rough math off the top of my head, like 50,000 in profit a year. It's not even 50,000 in profit, like 30,000 in profit a year. And so we could continue to focus on this, or we could buy a brand that's doing 500,000 in profit every year, and then put all our energy into that, but keep Dr. Barry's going. One of the assets that I'm talking about is the GERD Chef, GERDChef.com. It's this website that gets about 30,000 organic visitors a month. And then we push another 50 to 100,000 paid to that website per month. But our product's 3.7 stars. And so harder to upsell. So one of the brands we're looking at, we'll get into this more later, is a brand that is in the same space. And so we could take all that traffic, switch it over to his product, that new brand's product, because that brand product actually has good reviews. And so it has 4.3 stars and it's got, I think, over 100. So more potential there. So there's always something you can do with it. It's not just a lost cause. It's got an email list. It's got a website with traffic. It's got an income generating website, and it's got formulations. So we won't necessarily give up on it. It's a learning experience. Like I told Deacon about a year ago, this is the game of Monopoly. We're playing Monopoly. This is just fake money. Like, it's real money, of course, but it's just fake money. And we're using it to figure out our next step. And so that's kind of how I'm treating Dr. Barry's now. And it's like our meetings now on Mondays are like 5 minutes long. And it's like, okay, are we still profitable? Great. Okay, let's talk about acquisitions.
Do you feel like why do you think the product, you wouldn't have you've raved about the products in Dr. Barry's, and you've raved about the product that's currently not getting the best reviews. Why do you think it's not? Why do you think it's so review? Why is it getting bad reviews?
It's in the pain market. And in the pain market, if you don't provide instant feedback, instant relief, then you're going to get negative reviews. And so the product itself takes about 90 days to fully work. And so it's going to take a long time. And these are proven ingredients that help your stomach. And people just don't give it enough time. They want that instant fix because it's in a market that has Tums. Tums is instant. Rolaids, instant. All these products are instant relief. And so it's hard to fight with that. We did provide some calcium carbonate in the product to give that Tums effect, but it's 1/10 of what Tums does. So people are just used to popping junk food, taking Tums, when in reality, they need to change their diet and then use this as a supplement to their diet. That's why they're called supplements, by the way. It supplements their diet, and then it will take effect. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
You're lying. What do you like? What do you feel like? I promise I'm going to get to Deacon, but I'm very curious from your perspective right now. You know, is the liver support similar to that? Like, is that basically playing the same game, or is the liver side of things is not instantaneous? Meaning, is it a different support mechanism than people look at, reflux? I guess, yeah, because you don't go, my liver hurts, let me take a liver supplement.
You hear that occasionally. Yeah, it's more like I'm hungover.
I don't even know if I've ever known if my liver did hurt. But are you worried about this at all?
No, the liver support supplement is also a great product. So Hiatal Health is a great product. It has good reviews. It has a loyal following. It will always be there making $500 in profit. It's not a widespread product because people don't realize what a hiatal hernia is. Hiatal hernia feels like acid reflux. And so they're going to take acid reflux meds instead of looking for a hiatal product. And so hiatal hernia is like a product that will just be out there. It will always be there. It'll always have its loyal following. Reflux Essentials will probably continue it just because there are people that are following it. It's going to be a $500 a week product, which is fine. Just keep it in stock. Just keep it running. The perpetual sales machine's in place. Just let it go. Those are pain relief products. Whereas liver is an aspirational product. I need to do a liver cleanse to give myself more energy. And so I'm going to take a liver supplement to give me that more energy. I'm feeling just off. I'm feeling sluggish. I'm feeling slow. I think I needed a liver detox. So a liver detox can kind of get rid of that sluggishness, that energy, boost that like brain fatigue. So it's more of an aspirational thing, similar to like a multivitamin. Multivitamins, people take them because they think it makes them healthy. Excuse me. And so it's not like I take it.
Just getting emotional. I get it.
Getting emotional.
It's a very emotional subject.
I get it. I get the same way.
But yeah, people take it more for like the benefits. I would say, I don't want to say perceived benefits because it does something, but it's more like I take a multivitamin for XYZ. I take a liver supplement for the same XYZ. I want to be healthy.
Got it. Deacon, what are your overall thoughts? Are you discouraged? Are you encouraged? Are you looking at it like Doc, like great learning and it's producing profit? So like it was our first one. Like, let's go.
I look at it the same way. I mean, this wasn't a deal we were looking for. This was like me sitting at my desk and I got a text from Travis that said, "Hey, if we bought this brand, would you run it?" And I was like, "Sure." So this whole thing was kind of like could this work? I am disappointed that Reflux Essentials didn't go better. It's always frustrating with reviews. I think it's more frustrating on Amazon. Just the people that review there are just like, man. So, but no, I'm not discouraged because I kind of like a lot of businesses. It's like you either have that hero product or you don't. And if you don't, that doesn't mean the business is over. It just means you don't have the hero product yet. So we know what we're looking for. Total Liver The other thing, Travis didn't mention this, but like this has been sold before. What's the review situation over there? Like we have evidence that we're in a better spot going into Total Liver, like hard evidence on our listing. I think Travis is probably looking for it right now.
No, we can't see it right now because it's suspended, but it's
what was it?
50 reviews, 4.8 stars.
Okay, so yeah, just right away it is wildly different than Reflux Essentials was. And so we do have that evidence to go on also. We've got very reasonable MOQs that make this a very low risk test to go forward with too. So all of those things kind of come together and it's like, cool. I hope this is a hero product. But yeah, I'm not discouraged. It's more like this feels like building the foundation of what we are going to build in the future, which is like that next acquisition. And
right on. And okay, so as we're going into the next acquisition, which I'm excited about, we've had some really cool stuff. Do you guys feel nervous about going into supplements, or should I say how has it changed the way you look at future acquisitions? How has Dr. Berry's affected how you guys have looked at how you guys are looking at future acquisitions? And then kind of share with us or share with me, like, man, what has happened now on the acquisition side? Because I know that you guys have both shown a lot more excitement in there. The excitement has shifted. The energy has shifted towards acquisition from Dr. Berry's. So kind of like, how has Dr. Berry's affected that? Doc.
well,
Or Deacon.
I'm just going to start talking even if you don't do it, even if I don't raise my hand on my own podcast. As far as like not a lot has changed about how I think about the supplement space because of Dr. Berry's. There are a few things that I just had less experience with. For one of them being like Amazon being the primary sales channel. And so now, like just from working with Travis, I can look at products better and understand, like, are they on the review cliff or do they have enough like critical mass that's not necessarily a problem? Or if you see one that's like fallen off the review cliff, I would never go into this and think, oh, well, I can overcome that, because I know that that's basically impossible on Amazon. So like, I guess I look at the Amazon side a little bit differently. And yeah, the other part is just having like a better understanding of inventory turn and how much that affects your business and what you're able to do. Gives me kind of, I guess, another lens to look at when I'm looking at a product, a supplement business, and just trying to figure out, cool, like, tell me about where you get your products. What's the lead time like? What's the MOQs like? Just kind of looking at all of that. I look at a little bit differently.
I will say I have seen, I won't say never, but it has been interesting watching Deacon's shift into this. Like, Travis was ready to go this way like 5 years ago almost. Like, he's very momentum focused, which is good. It's like, where's the momentum? Let's go there. Let's create it. Okay, is there momentum? No momentum? There's no momentum. Why focus more energy on it? Let's go over here. And so it's been cool to see Deacon kind of shift and go, yeah, this is where we need to go. Like, this same energy that we're putting on Dr. Berry's, if we just put it on a bigger thing, like, we could create so much more results and so much more for the actual fund. So I'll say it's been cool to see. What were you going to say, Doc?
I was just going to add to that point. And it's amazing to me. Like, so I've been in this game for 10 years now, and it's amazing to me. Actually, it's 10 years exactly. Like now. Yeah. 10-year anniversary. Yay.
It's my 10-year anniversary also.
What?
We'll come back to that. Next month is my 10-year anniversary of basically being laid off for the last time.
Me too, guys.
That's a whole other story.
It's crazy. I was also 10 years.
Anyway. All right. So, but it's what I see all the time in my coaching and with my clients even, and people that have multi-million dollar brands is they get married to products. And you
Mhm.
have to detach yourself from every product you sell. And iLove really taught me that because I used to get married to products and like really push them hard. And I'd push them just like, why can't I get this selling? What I've learned now is that let the market choose. And your job as an entrepreneur is to act fast. And so you need to be coming out with a product every single quarter. And if you can afford it, of course, you don't want to cash strap your previous products that could have winning potential or have winning potential to come out with more products. But it's just a numbers game. You're going to have 75, 80% of your products aren't going to do that well. They're going to be base hits. Hydal Health is a bunt. It's barely a base hit. Reflux Essentials was a triple, then it became a double. Now it's a single and it's doing okay. And so you have a couple singles, they're doing okay. It will keep the business thriving, or it will keep the business alive, I should say. But you're constantly looking for that one home run. With iLove, we had 170 SKUs across the entire time we had the brand. 170 SKUs. When we sold, 5 of them were responsible for making all of the money. 5 out of 170. So we failed a ton in order to find those 5. But when we found those 5, it was great. They were home runs. They sold over 100 per day. And Deacon has not experienced that in this business yet. But I keep telling him, like, be patient. It's coming. It will come. And it can be discouraging, but we've only done 2 products going on 3. And so the 2 products were in the pain market, which is very hard, like we talked about before. But with the liver one, it has the potential to be that hero product. We just don't know. We're going to try it. We're going to try it for 9 months, just like we did Reflux Essentials. We're going to let the market decide if it's good or not. We already think it's good because of the reviews that have already come in. And then we'll go from there. But when you find a winning product like that, by winning product, I mean it's going up in revenue and profit every single month because subscriptions are going up too. You create this perpetual sales machine. In a perpetual sales machine, subscriptions go up, revenue goes up, and profit goes up month over month. And when you have that, it's great. We had that with Reflux Essentials until we didn't. And then what we noticed is we got up to like 370 subscriptions, and now it's starting to decline. And so that's how you know you have a losing product on your hand, is when subscriptions stop going up and they start going back down. And so revenue's going down with it, profits going up because we pulled back advertising because there's no point in advertising a 3.7 star product. And then I have one more thing to add. I am pretty impressed with, and he doesn't think it's impressive, but I'm going to give him accolades on the call. With we shifted Facebook ads to be for our website, and he's having trouble scaling it, but he's still spending. What are you spending? $40 a day right now, and it's $40 a day.
I think so.
Profitably. Yeah, it's profitable. He's getting a better ROAS than I am on Amazon, and he's doing really well. He's had trouble scaling it, yes, but our website is actually up almost 100% in May over April. And so Deacon's like, oh, it's not that impressive, but
yeah, it sounds like Deacon. That sounds like exactly like Deacon.
But barely started.
The cool thing about it is because our website has all great reviews, and no, we don't manipulate reviews. The only thing we do that like gets us positive reviews is we ask for them, number one. And for some reason, the 1 stars don't come out on our website. We don't delete them. At least I don't. Deacon might, but I don't. I told him not to because it's against FTC. And then another thing we do is we ask our content creators, we ask people to do content for our products. And then when they're done doing content on Instagram or TikTok, we say, hey, could you leave an honest review on our website and on Amazon? That's just, we ask them. And they leave great reviews. So those are the 2 ways we get good reviews on Amazon and our website. But our website is not getting 1 star and 2 star reviews. There's like 2 3s, 2 4s, and the rest 5s. So we've shifted the traffic, some of the traffic over to the website to focus on that. However, the writing's still on the wall. This is just kind of a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitches, because we know the product mass market to Amazon didn't do that well. And so it's probably going to do the same thing over on our Shopify store. Just the Shopify store hasn't caught up yet because it hasn't had the velocity that Amazon had. And so we'll watch it. We'll see subscriptions go up on our website, and then they'll probably start going back down again. And so it's not a winning formulation, but it's a temporary patch while we get Total Liver off the ground.
So how is this for you guys? Like now, like let's switch gears. You guys are doing, I would say with Dr. Barry's, you're being responsible. You're like, okay, here's the data. We've stuck with it. This is what the data is telling us. Let's not operate from emotion or like, I think we call it, Deacon taught me this, like the gambling fallacy. Like I've already invested this much and yeah, I'm losing, but I got to make it back. So I forget the actual name for it, but
Sunk cost.
Yeah. Sunk cost fallacy. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
I use it all the time now. I stole it. So now we're like, let's just stay with the momentum thing. Okay. What has been the process of trying to acquire momentum? What has that process been like? What has the shift been like? Have you enjoyed it? Do you hate it? Has it been better than you thought? This is the game that we want to play. Like, just give me all of it. And I think add as much context as you can for the listeners that haven't been with us over the past, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, since we've also gotten support in this from experts.
Like Dr. Barry's momentum?
No, like now that we know, like kind of following up what Dr. Ziegler was saying was like, hey, like finding that hero product because it has momentum. The hero product already has natural momentum and we're trying to kind of create it. And Dr. Barry's is going to take time because we got to find a hero product. We just got to try different ones. Well, now we're trying to acquire a hero product, essentially, one that already has momentum. What has that process been like for you guys? And like, give as much context because I've been along for the ride, but now I get to kind of talk about it more with you guys and just kind of hear like how you really feel about it.
Yeah. So I guess there are kind of two components. And Travis, jump in whenever. But so component one is like outreach, essentially. It's almost think of them as like sales, right? We've got outbound and inbound. I have been primarily focused on outbound, working through the group advisory board. Like, how do we put together an engine so that we can go and essentially like go find people and inquire about buying their business and like essentially that way. And within that category, there's like marketplaces, which is kind of where everybody starts. So, Empire, Flippers, Biz Buy Sell, that kind of stuff. Those deals are out there. There's a bunch of others that I kind of found and got plugged into. So there are deals like showing up in our inbox every day. That's been part of it. That part was easy to get started. And it was just, it's almost just like browsing what's there. And then the harder part that we're still working towards building is like that outbound engine for off market stuff. So how do we go find businesses to reach out to start that conversation? And that's like kind of where a lot of the real value would be. Like the best business we can buy is probably not for sale right now. And we have to go find it. And that has been, there's a lot of skills and just new things involved there. You've got to build that list. That's been a kind of an experimentation process. We had to write cold outreach emails. We had to, do some tech setup to make sure that when we send those cold outreach emails, like they come from a domain that actually gets delivered to the inbox and, all of that kind of, so there's like an email deliverability component. There's a list sourcing component. There's like I've been working on the part now where it's like, all right, we've got our pipeline. It's sending out the emails, people schedule. And so there's automations involved too, right? Where like people schedule and now you don't keep asking them to schedule. So it's almost like building a sales pipeline with all these like little tech components. And so, that part does not have momentum yet, but I've just got like a few details to button up there and we should start sending out emails next week to people on lists that we went and like sourced lists of brands to reach out to. And then we'll start taking calls and that'll be a whole new world.
And the cool part about that is we joined the advisory room and had them build this for us because we wanted to get more leads to buy supplement brands. But then selfishly, it's also going to get us more leads for the agency, the perfect lead that we want, supplement company. And then it's also going to get more leads for Deacon and what he does. And so it's going to create an ecosystem where we're getting all these cold leads for everything that we're doing. Profitable Pineapple, for Deacon and his services with fractional COO and even Facebook ads. It's going to help us buy companies because I would say out of every 100 emails we send out cold, there's going to be one person that saves that email and puts it on their desk. It's like getting a little piece of paper in the mail and they put it over there on their desk like, ooh, they buy businesses. I'm just going to put it over here on my desk and just save that for later, because there's going to be that day that it's going to be like, oh, I can't stand this anymore. Maybe I should talk to them. And I just sent out an email on Tuesday that was just like, hey, we're looking to buy supplement companies. If you're interested, please introduce me to somebody, or just reply to this email. And I got some replies. And so that opened up conversations with people. And now we're in talks. But it's a relationship building process. So you create the momentum by doing outreach, by posting on Facebook about it, by posting on YouTube about it, by doing videos like this. Hey, I made this banner. Hold on, wait for it.
Oh yeah, read that out loud for people listening
on the podcast. We buy brands. Inquire at freedombrands.net. But yeah, so it's all about just outreach and getting out there and just letting people know what we're doing. But momentum on the other side is the business side. If we're not growing, it's very hard to feel momentum. And I think April was a very, very, very hard month. Across all of our clients, we have 33 brands that we work with. Across every client, this is both in coaching and in client management, all of our clients grew 1.2% in the month of April, which is very rare. Usually we're growing like 10 to 20% across all our clients, but it was 1.2%. And what we saw in April was just like a general softening of the economy. Tariffs were announced like April 2nd or 4th or something like that. And that just like freaked out the market. People stopped spending. The stock market dropped. And then it's amazing because it's like, it's not instant impact on businesses or the market, but everybody just freaked out. And then of course, what was it, 2 days ago, from the time of this recording, tariffs were announced that it's 30% from China. So they dropped significantly from they were like 20% before, went up to 145. Now they're down to 30. And like the market recovers, Bitcoin recovers, everything's going nuts. And there's people buying again. And so it's funny because human psychology, but with that, people freaking out, like momentum halted. Like clients started getting a little uneasy. We had one client shut down their entire business. They were just like, hey, I'm just going to shut down my business for now. I'll let you know when I pull it back up. And it was like, you're doing what? They're like, I can't deal with the tariffs. And that's just a fragile business to begin with, because if the tariffs, they were huge. Yes, they can impact you, but if they shut down your entire business, that's a scary business. I don't want to be in that business. That's why I love supplements. They're harder to get into, they're harder to market, but they have a higher profit margin. You help people, which is like by ethical law. That's why I'm a doctor. That's what I want to do, is help people. And it's just a lot better of a space to be in because there's subscriptions, and that subscription creates perpetual sales. Sales on autopilot, subscriptions. So when subscriptions are going up, revenue is going up, profits going up, momentum's going. But then when it starts to go the other way, it's very hard to not be in your own head about that. So momentum can be a widespread across this business, but that's why Darren Hardy calls it the entrepreneur's roller coaster, because you're constantly going up and down, no matter how good your business is. It can be doing $1 million a month. It can be doing $1 billion a month. There are ebbs and flows in all businesses. The swings are just bigger when you're bigger. And so momentum, yeah, it can be a lot of things, but the last couple of months have been non-momentum. I don't even know what the word is.
Yeah. Let me ask this. Like, I want the listeners to feel like what has the process been on trying to acquire? Like, we've had conversations, we've had people come back and say, yes, no, maybe so. We don't have to say what they were, but how has that process of actually getting responses from people that were like, hey, we would, based on what we're seeing on paper, like, we think we'd like to have you.
Before I answer that, I want to go to one of the comments that somebody posted on something we were talking about before.
Yeah.
I want to answer that one real quick. Element Sales says, can you expand by what you mean with the review, Cliff? And I'm just going to briefly explain it, and then we'll get back to this. And I'll try to explain it as best I can for the podcast listeners too, because I'm going to share my screen. And so this is our listing for Reflux Essentials. And what you can see is it's 3.7 stars. The 3.7 stars has the appearance of 3.5 stars. If we were jump to 3.8 stars, it would have the appearance of 4 stars. And that appearance difference, even though it's only 3.7 to 3.8, is a massive conversion rate factor.
Mm-hmm.
And so that will pretty much double our conversion rate. And the same goes true for 4.3 to 4.2. Excuse me, 4.2 to 4.3. When you're at 4.2 stars, you have the appearance of 4 stars. When you're at 4.3 stars, you have the appearance of 4.5 stars. And so that subtle difference in appearance doubles your conversion rate. And so that's what we meant by review cliff. When we fell off and go in the wrong direction, which we have been, that just kills sales. So we were spending a ton of money on Google ads and Facebook ads and PPC. And when we dropped to 3.7, it just killed conversion rate. And we had to drop back Google ads significantly. All right. Now it says, got it. Thank you. So I thought I might go over that real quick. But anyway, back to what you were saying.
Yes. So what has, like, for people that are looking at the fund and going like, yeah, you guys don't just run one brand forever, hopefully, like you guys want to acquire. So you guys are actively trying to acquire, which is why you went out and got people to help you, you know, to mentor you and coach you in this, and they're building the pipeline. But have you guys had conversations? How have the responses been when you say, hey, we want to buy you? How have people responded? What have you learned from that based on what you've seen? As much as you guys feel comfortable sharing, because I have thoughts on it. But I want to know what y'all's thoughts are. Just completely raw thoughts on what the responses have been and what they've made you think.
You got to call on one of us. So
I'm on the other side of this. I'll make this easy. I'm on the other side where Travis is basically the one saying that. So again, another good example. One of the many reasons we're great partners is Travis is a high quick start. So yeah, he'll like send the email. Like I think the three of us were on a call recently talking about one, and he's like, yeah, all right, I just emailed him. So Travis is the one having those initials. By the time they get to my desk, there's already been some sort of response, and it's hitting my desk because there's something to look at. So I am kind of shielded from the question you're asking so far anyway.
And from my standpoint, it's relationships. It's relationship building. They've been clients of mine. They've been PSM members of ours in our community. And so it's the people that we're dealing with right now, the brands that we're dealing with right now, the entrepreneurs that we're dealing with right now. And I wouldn't even say dealing with, I'll say talking to, because dealing with just sounds bad. But talking to, it's just a result of conversation. They respond to something I say. So one of the ones that we're looking at right now, he came into the agency and we took over his ads as a result of him. Like, I heard you talk about how you're partnering with supplement brands and working with them to grow them, and you're buying into them, and I want to be a part of it. And so that's how he became an agency client. And I said, let's see if we can work together. We started with him in January. We've grown him, I think, I want to say 35% month over month. We should hit 100,000 this month. And so we're actually hurting us because we're increasing his valuation. And so I see a lot of potential with his brand. His brand has like 8 products. One of them is the Hero. And so there's a little bit of a risk there, but there's also a lot of potential because we've already almost doubled his EBITDA on a month to month basis. And so lots of potential there. Subscriptions have been going up. He's got 1,600 of them, and it's great. It's a great brand. We can get it for a lot less money than a bigger brand, and there's still a lot of momentum there. And so that just came from relationship building and him hearing me on a podcast, him hearing me on a YouTube channel. The second one has been with us for a year and a half. He was a community member of ours in my mastermind. Then he ascended to the agency level, decided he wanted to keep it in-house again. So now he's back at the community member level because he liked it just when he was managing it. So, but he's ascended as well. And he's kind of like, I don't think I'm ready to sell, but let's explore it and just talk through it and see if it's a good fit. And quite honestly, both of the owners of those brands, I like them. They're good brand owners for different reasons. Both of them are great product designers. One's more of like a visionary. The other one's more of an operator. And so you can almost acqui-hire these people too, to be a part of the fund as well. And so the one brand that we're looking at, a little bigger, has about 6 supplements, or no, they have 10, and 4 of them are their main products. That one's a little more interesting to us because it's more diversified. It's less risk. And so if one gets pulled, we're not completely cash flow poor. And his brand is very established. The aesthetic of his brand is very clean and it looks great. So there's a lot to like it. And then he's a great operator. And so we look at these brands to not only just buy the assets and sell them, but to also look at the people, because if we're going to be $100 million company, it's not going to be Deacon and I. It's going to be a whole team of people. That's what Profitable Pineapple's for. We'll create a whole Facebook ads agency around Deacon's skill set and have a whole team under him. And there's just so much we can do with this. And you can do that through acquiring these brands. And so I think my momentum's come from my frustration with my agency clients of like, we grow these brands. And I was just talking to Deacon before this podcast, and we tripled the size of this brand and they left us. And it was like, I have nothing but glowing reviews to say to you and everything you guys have done. However, we're leaving you. It's like, but we've tripled you in 9 months, like tripled their business. They weren't a small business. They were doing like 130,000 a month before we came on. And then like we tripled them. And then they got hit with an influencer, and then the influencer made them blow up even more. And so they were doing really well. And then we just got this email that was just like, hey, we're bringing it in-house. And I'm sick of that. And so that's a frustration for me, because I want to own the brands again. I've owned them before. I've grown them before. I'm excited to get back into it. It's been about 4 years. I mean, we have Dr. Berry's, but I want a bigger brand. I want something that I can build beyond what I did with I Love, because I know I can, with the help of the team that we've put in place for this, I know we can grow a brand much bigger than we did I Love. Because I Love, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to hire. I didn't know what to do. I got us to 500,000 a month, but it was shaky, to say the least. It was scary. And so that's why I sold. I was scared. And now I'm not scared. I don't have that fear anymore of it all going away. And I know we can build this to something incredible because of what I've learned in the last years, who I've met, who I've brought in. And now it's just a matter of doing it. And so I'm more excited to move into that route and buying brands, but it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of relationship building.
Like, what are they saying to you guys? Like, when you say, are they excited when you propose acquisition? Are they like, no, thanks? Or are they like, give me $2 billion? Like, how, like, has the, we're early, like the first acquisition, now that I look back, it was like almost like a no-brainer for them, because they were ready to move on themselves. Like, they were very ready to move on to something else.
Yeah, that was
So,
a
you know what I
easy one,
mean?
because they were already in the process of walking away. And
Yes.
it's like Travis like just grabbed it.
Yeah. He's like, okay, I'll kind of take it, and here's this. Does that work? And they're like, yes. And it's like, okay, cool, let's go. But now we're not looking for people that are like, while it would be nice that they just have a bigger brand and they're like, I'm ready to do something else. Sure, here you go. But when you build something that has better profit, better revenue, you don't tend to feel the same way. You're like, I think it's worth something, and I know it's worth something. So, like, with the people that you've made offers on, without having to share who they are or what their brand is, have you been surprised by their responses? Have you been encouraged by their responses? Have you been frustrated
What
by
does
their
somebody
responses?
say, Travis, when you show up and say, I'd like to buy your baby?
Yeah.
Variety of responses, but for the most part, I try to create win-win environments, and I never want to create a win-lose environment. So most of the time when I'm talking to them at first, I want to know what their goals are with life. Like, what are your goals, not only with this brand, but what do you want to do it with your life? Do you want to go travel with your kids? Do you want to retire? Do you want this? How much money do you need to do that? And so I figured out what their goals are, establishing that rapport, establishing that relationship, because I want to give it to them. I want to be able to say, like, with this brand, this is what I think it's worth. And I think we can get you to your number that you want based on this. And so depending on what their number is, will depend on the creativity of the deal.
Like, well, what are they saying? Like, without educating us on how to do it, like, what are they saying to you? Like, literally, what are they saying to you guys? And like,
do they just reply with a number?
Yeah. Like, do they, like, what do they, have you been surprised by how they respond? Have you been not surprised?
No,
have you been frustrated?
I'm not surprised at all. Like, they'll tell me what number they want. And usually I ask them why. Like, I want them to explain that number. And then I usually help them come up with a number based on what they want out of their life. You guys know I have my dream financial calculator. You guys have all done it. And it's just like, how much cash do you really need? Most people think they need $20 million. And I'm telling you, you don't. I need $12 million cash flowing, about $1 million per year, in order to start clinics in the Caribbean, like to fully fund free clinics in the Caribbean. And so if you don't need any of that, like, you don't need $12 million. You don't even need like $2 million. You need like $1 million. You don't need as much as you think. And so I try to get them to tell me their goals and tell me a number, what they want out of it, what they want after the sale, because there's a big void after the sale. And so I try to get them to avoid all the mistakes that we made, number one, and the feelings that we
but what
felt.
are they saying? Doc, like, you keep talking me through the process. Literally, how many people have you reached out with that have like said, here's what we want, and has what they're wanted been shocking? Has it been frustrating? Has it been like roll your eyes, or has it been like, ooh, we can do
almost
that?
Always a dollar amount. They just want a dollar amount. That's it.
But is it bigger than you thought, or has it been like, and when
always,
you see it,
always bigger?
The ones that I have, that by the time they land on my desk, I look at it and I'm like, they want that? Like, okay, it doesn't seem to be based on any sort of business valuation process. It's just a big number.
It's Shark Tank. So most people know multiples and like multiples of businesses based on Shark Tank, which is completely unrealistic, because
that's what I wanted to know. Like, was that shocking to you that like they all were like, well, based on episode 5 of my favorite, like, was that shocking that was their knowledge of acquisition numbers?
It wasn't, because I take myself back 6 years ago. Yeah. So that would have been 2019. Let's go back to 2020 when we first started talking to somebody about acquiring us. It was actually in 2020 of June. And I was naive. I wanted a 10x. I wanted a 10x multiple on my EBITDA. And I didn't know anything about it. And so now I've educated myself thoroughly, because I've been through 7 acquisitions at this point. And I know a lot more now. I've sold businesses for too little. I've bought businesses for too little. I've paid too much for businesses. So I know a lot more now than I did then. And most of these entrepreneurs just started this thing, didn't ever expect it to blow up this big. They just wanted a couple of $1,000 per month extra, but they watched Shark Tank. And Shark Tank is like, I'm going to value my business at 10x revenue. And it's like, and you hear the sharks all the time. And you're like, there's no way you're worth that. But you'll see a Shark Tank. They usually go like, the good revenue multiples are like 1 to 2x revenue. And you'll see that on Shark Tank. And the reason that the sharks love that is because they know what they can do with the business. And so they're like, yeah, I'll pay that, because I know I'm just going to like 5x you guys pretty much in the next year, and I'm going to get my money back right away. And so that's why they can value it even higher, which 1 to 2x revenue is very high, especially in this space. It just depends on your profits. But usually in this space, it's 3x EBITDA or like 2.5 times SDE. And the difference between the two is if you're a solopreneur or if you're actually a real business. And most of the brands that we're buying are solopreneurs. We're buying a job, essentially. They might come with the brand or not, but for the most part, they're valuing it based on their revenue, which isn't the case in this industry. But we're getting creative with our deal structures, and we've been going back and forth, Deacon and I have, in our super secret Monday meetings on deal structures that will get them interested. So we know their number, and we say, okay, we'll give you this up front in cash, and then we'll get you to your number that you want, which is a little too high, but we'll do it in an earnout. So if you trust that this business is going to keep going, we want to pay you for that. And so we're exploring creative deals. You can do a bunch of stuff with that. But I think that's going to help us land our first deal within our second deal within the next, I'd say 2 months, 3 months.
Do you feel, has it been exciting trying, like getting their responses? Has that been exciting? As in like, hey, we're doing it. Like, has that been exciting for you?
Yeah. I mean, we're planting seeds that, I mean, all these brands that we're talking to 3 brands very seriously right now. And some are exciting, some are not. So I was really excited about a brand. You guys met them. And then I had a couple meetings with them and the excitement went away because he couldn't tell me what he wanted. He couldn't tell me what he wanted at all. And I was like, so what's the 5 and 10 year plan? And like nothing came out of that. And so I couldn't really get a sense. I got a sense that he wouldn't be flexible. He wouldn't be able to work as a team.
Yeah. And in this deal in particular, we weren't looking to just take something away from somebody else and have it be ours. Like he was part of it. And we were like, cool, let's, bring this under our umbrella. And so we were going to be working a lot with this guy. So I don't know if that changes. So when you hear that from somebody that you're like, this is kind of the visionary of the business, you're like, oh.
But I will say a big but in that. Those meetings, I had 3 of them in like less than a week. Those meetings led to me meeting somebody else who is hugely connected. This guy owned a private jet business who accommodated senators, presidents, and it's a super niche private jet business that were on their book tours.
Justice, I think it's a different company than the one you use.
Yeah, it sounds a little different, but a jet's a jet.
You're mostly recreational travel?
Yeah, mine are more like, I really like coffee in this city, so let's take more like coffee jet company. But go on.
You say that, but there's a guy that lives in the Caribbean and he wants the Puerto Rican tax. And so he takes his helicopter, lands in Puerto Rico, has his coffee in Puerto Rico, and then goes back to his home so he can have the Puerto Rican tax law. It works. But anyway, so this guy is super connected and has all these investors. And he himself is an investor too. And so he's like, hey, if you want to raise money, I can take you on like an investor tour and you can get in front of all these people I know that are looking to deploy money. They've been looking to invest into a company that I want to do, but I don't really have a company. And so, because he just sold his jet business. And so he's like, if you want, I'll take you around. And so we're exploring that now.
Love it. Deacon, what's been your, like with the like the proposals that have been put out, the people that we've talked to that we've said, here's a dollar amount. Would you be open to us acquiring you for that dollar amount? Has that been exciting, frustrating, relieving?
A little of both. It is. So I mentioned earlier, it's like on-market deals and off-market deals. On-market deals, somebody has taught them already about the value of a business. And so you're like, great, this is a reasonable price. And, there's still more work to do, but they're coming into it with some sort of reasonable expectation. But there's very high competition and there's some other downsides to going on market. Off-market deals, Travis and I used that Shark Tank analogy earlier. It's almost like early stages, it kind of hinges on like, do they watch Shark Tank or not? Or like, do they have any idea? Yeah. And Justice, you'll remember this. You and I tried to buy a brand years ago. And it was like basically worth nothing, right? Like the guy was going to shut it down. And we were like, we'll give you 10 grand for it. And then like the next conversation, it was like 150 grand. Like, give me 150 grand for this. We're like, what are you what? And he had valued it. He's like, oh, well, it makes 150 grand a year. Top line, not profit. It made no profit. He's like, oh, it makes 150 grand a year. So give me 150 grand. So it's those types of, when you're off market, you're stepping into this world where it's like, you don't know what they think about any of this.
Mhm.
And so it's been, that part has been a little frustrating because I am somebody who does my homework. And so I'm like, how are you even in this conversation with me? Like, like do some research and like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So that part I feel frustrated. The encouraging part though is as we are building experience through advisory board and just meeting other people who are doing this, we're getting more tools in our tool belt and understanding like, yeah, this is how a lot of people are going to respond and this is how the conversation goes. Here are
Yeah.
some tools to, here's a tool that's going to help anchor what you're saying. Now here's a tool that's going to like structure a deal in a way that they can want this valuation, but really it's valued down here. Here's like 3 tools to help with that. And so as we grow our tool belt, I feel more encouraged that, and I'm seeing other people that are in this same group with us are succeeding. And so I think more so I'm realizing like we have a skill deficit also, and we're building that. And so yeah, that's the encouraging part I feel, but I will probably never stop feeling frustrated at the crazy wild valuation numbers rooted in nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it has been, I guess I would say there's been parts that are not surprising, and then there's been parts that are surprising. Meaning, I've been surprised at how much someone will work. Like, we're talking to people that have worked really hard, sacrificed a lot to build the brands that they have, that are in a position that someone that buys businesses is like, hey, interesting. On paper, this looks interesting, and I'm willing to put an LOI towards this to dig in deeper to actually give you money for what you've built. I've been surprised by, like, I'm not surprised by their numbers. Like, those numbers don't surprise me because there is just this lack of knowledge that we have, that they're in a house by themselves selling supplements, essentially. There's no, and so yeah, every once in a while they watch TV, they see Shark Tank, and they're like, I've never seen anyone else value a business other than these entertainers, right? So that part doesn't surprise me. I think the part that was a little surprising was seeing these people who have worked so hard not know what their desired end state would be, and their purpose for that. So it's like, I think they might be caught off guard that someone wants to buy it. And so they're just like, here's a number. Okay, I get that. What would this be for? Well, I don't know. And that part to me is like, man, if I've worked this hard, blood, sweat, and tears, I'd be like, I want to build this for this reason and for this end state eventually, or to build it towards this cash flow for this reason. And so I think it just goes to show that, none of these people, I would say, got lucky in what they're building. Luck is involved with, I think, every business, a certain percentage. But it's been really like, make these, even if it's in like from the time that we offer to the time that you get back to us, think about what this means to you. Like, even if it's an outlandish number, like, what do you need it for? What do you want? Like, what is your vision? Where do you want to take this? And it's made me think, like, what part of our process needs to help them even process that, so that we can come to an agreement. Because I just don't think they know, because their head's down, and then they look up and there's a guy going, huh? Maybe something? Yes, I'd like it. And they're like, really? Oh, okay. Well, absolve me of any future struggle financially. It's like, well, wait. I don't know about that. So I don't know if that makes sense, but for you guys, any last thoughts on that you think, people would like to hear on the acquisition side, or any last insights or yeah, any thoughts before we wrap?
If you get an email from somebody that's looking to acquire, always explore it, just because it's worth exploring and going through the process a little bit. You don't have to go full due diligence on them, but it's worth just having that conversation. I was acquired as a result of that. We made the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies, and then the COO of the company that bought us saw that, reached out through a cold email, and I said, sure, let's discuss it. This is what I want. And I wanted a 10x multiple on EBITDA. I wanted to roll over a third of my equity. I wanted to stay on, and I wanted an earnout. And they said yes to everything except for the 10x EBITDA equity. I got a pretty good multiple though, a better multiple than what was on the market at that time. Usually it's 2 to 3x at the size I was at. If you're under $1 million, it's usually 2 to 3x of your profit or your EBITDA. And so just keep that in mind. But don't be afraid to explore that to see, because you never know what it's going to be. It may just be they pay you, you walk away, or you may become part of something bigger. And when I got purchased, it led me to work for this corporation, which I learned a lot from that corporation and that CEO and COO, which then sold to private equity. And then I learned a ton from that CEO and COO. And that brought me to where I'm at today, because I was like, this isn't that hard. Like it's pretty easy, especially when you had cash flow like they had. They had a big EBITDA number. And so they were able to just offer cash for all these deals, and it made it a lot easier for them. And that's what we're trying to get to. And I loved it because I got to be a part of something bigger and a bigger team, and I got to learn from that. And so you may just want to walk away, but you may actually want to be part of something bigger, like what we're building. And you can continue to build your business while being under the umbrella of something, and it allows you to focus on what you do best, and you don't have to worry about the legal, you don't have to worry about the accounting, you don't have to worry about all that stuff, because the parent company will take care of all that. And do we have all that in place yet? No, we don't, but we will. And when we were bought, it took everything off my plate, and I got to just focus on sales and marketing. There were problems and some things that happened as a result, but that's going to happen as you adjust to any new company. But it's one of those things that was, I mean, it was one of the biggest lessons I ever learned, was the 2 years from letter of intent, sale, working for private equity, working for corporate. That was like a massive 2-year lesson that I learned. So don't be afraid to jump in and talk to someone about getting your business purchased, especially with us. Hold on. We buy brands. Inquire at freedombrands.net. But yeah, head there and just reach out to us. And then you guys can always comment below on this if you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook. I'd love to get back to you. But yeah, you can learn a lot from this. And doing this as a team, you'll grow so much faster than you would if you did it alone.
What about you, Deacon?
I guess I would say so for some people, and you'll hear this a lot, especially if you're researching, buying brands and whatnot, there are a lot of people will luck into this. That was our first deal, right? Like we weren't planning on it. I got a text from Travis. I bought a brand. But that is not a repeatable, reliable, long-term, scalable system. And so for me, I guess a lot of that has been, the first 6 months of this was kind of hoping the next deal showed up. And, there was like 1 or 2. And now we're like actively, like this is another job. Like you have to go create the momentum to find the next one. So I guess that's the thing I would add, that I've been learning a lot lately. It's like actually putting that together. Like this is work too.
Yeah. I think you had said something, Deacon, of like, when there's the guy that we've been learning from, essentially is just like very good at sales. He's basically like
it's the same system a market developer would use.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yes. And he just like gets after it, and like that's what built his thing. And he's very creative, which I thought was pretty cool. And then now he teaches everybody else that. So it was one thing when they pulled back the curtain, it was like, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah, exactly. Just applied to something I didn't know I could apply it to.
Yeah. Which has been pretty cool. All right. Doc said it. Hopefully next 2-3 months, we've got another acquisition. We're also starting we paid for them to implement their system for us. So we will be seeing many more leads come through. So I'm excited to let the audience know over the next couple of weeks just what that experience has been like. And
Deacon's gonna get nailed by the fire hose.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready. I got the
he's
time.
ready.
I'm motivated.
Heck yeah. So this should be fun. We're looking forward to it. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next podcast.